Hey creative friends, welcome to Tracy Bautista Color. I'm so excited to share with you a fun project that I've been working on for the last few months, and I've been creating these paint swatch journals, and they are digital printables that you can use either printed or in apps like Procreate or Photoshop or even Canva, but they are meant to help you collect color and swatch out your art supplies and have fun in the process. So I just thought I would share with you bits and pieces. I have a few different kits in my SWATCH Studio membership each month. I've been creating these digital inspiration boards along with playbooks and also a creative studio planner. And so this kind of is an extension of the studio planner, but really focused on paint swatching and studio notes. So taking notes for a project that you're working on. There are undated like weekday, like weekly spreads if you want to use it. You can use this for so many different things. So I have a couple of samples of things that are part of the SWATCH Studio. So each month I create a digital kit that has some of my artwork and photographs that I've taken based on a theme. This was the Nature's Graffiti theme. And so far I've created them in both letter size, so 8.5 by 11, and most recently I've been really experimenting with the Traveler's Notebook size because I really love this format. I have a couple of Traveler's Notebooks inserts, and I thought it would be fun to create something that would go inside of those, but also that you could use inside just your regular sketchbook or journal. So these kits have a variety of different pages. I actually have a few of them printed, and there's not really any order right now. I just kind of printed a bunch of them and I've just been experimenting and playing with them. But really they are meant to be very minimalist so that you can add color. So you'll notice that the lines are really light on some of the pages. It's because they're just kind of this guide for you to use them however you want. You could swatch inside these, you could write inside them. When you print them one up on a page, there are actually crop marks where you can cut, so that will cut it down to the Traveler's Notebook size that you can actually fit inside of a Traveler's Notebook. So for instance, I have just one of the inserts that I have for mine, but if I wanted to put this in here, I could put it right in there and glue it. Obviously it doesn't have the rounded corners, but I could take that and just cut it if I wanted to do that. You could also put it as a cover, so some of the artwork you could actually just collage this down and you've got these beautiful covers. But you can also take this journal or these printables and you can create your own little mini swatch book, project book. So you can mix and match the pages however you'd like. And I printed this on my computer two up on the printer. So I didn't really think about where the pages were going. I just wanted to see how it would lay out. So it does have the crop marks on it, which is totally fine. But I can cut these down to size, or I can leave it as is and I have more room to like write around some of the swatching that I might be doing on the pages. So this one I printed on actually Epson presentation paper. It's like a heavyweight cardstock and it's matte. It's actually a little bit cream colored. It's not like a bright white. And I also experimented with another a little bit more whiter cardstock, which is the Nina paper, white. It's called bright white, but it's still, you can see it is brighter than the Epsom paper. But I wanted to see how both of these reacted with the paints. And so I did a little bit of swatching with my most recent collection, the Nature's Graffiti collection on here. And it takes the paint really well. And I had a lot of water on my brush. And so these are meant to be cut to size like that if you want to use them as single kind of sheets. You could also print, some of these I printed double-sided. Let me find one that actually has, I don't know if any of these ones have double-sided, but this one is. So you can print the pages and send them through your printer so that you can have double-sided pieces. And I also experimented with printing 4 up on a page, which I thought was kind of fun. This is these are some of the inserts, and so you get the smaller piece, but you can also then collage it. So I actually like this idea because I could take this little color palette here, just cut it, and then place it anywhere on here. And I'll do another demo that shows how I'm envisioning these to be used, but really they're for you to have these really fun jump starts of color. All of the paintings here are paintings I created with my handcrafted artisanal watercolors and inks and pigment bars. And then there's some other swatch kind of cards. So you can use these as whole pages like this, or you can cut them up and create your own little swatch cards. So these are 2 by 3, and this one has a black line because when you use it, then you can see if your paint or ink is transparent, or the whatever tool you're painting with. So for instance, if I wanted to, let me just put a little bit of paint on this brush here. I just am grabbing random colors on my palette here. But if I wanted to just kind of see how it looks over black, obviously this is watercolor, so it's not going to show up very well over black, but that gives you an idea of what the color looks like over the black. So I could take this is a white Inktense pencil, and so you see a little of that on there. Let me see if I have a better. This is a ChromaFlow Derwent. So you can kind of see that one on there. Let's do, let's see, what do I have here? Here's a pink. And so, oh, it's not pink. It's vermilion. I thought it was pink. So you can see the white is subtle, but you can't really see that vermilion very well. So this is just a fun way to see what the colors look like over the top. So this is one of my one of my wax pastels, and that actually looks really great over the top. It pops, the color of it pops over the top of the black. So really just, it's to use to kind of swatch out the colors. So this is a pigment bar, and this particular color that I just swatched over here is a little bit more transparent, translucent, so you're not going to see it over the black, but you can see the other color when you put it over the white. So that's what these are for. You can also do drawdown. So if I wanted to put a little acrylic on here or oil paint and just draw it down with a little, like a credit card or a room key, then that would also show me how opaque a paint is. So that's what this one is for. And then this can be used, you can cut it out to use as a swatch card, or you could even take, if you wanted to swatch on your own papers in a variety of papers, then you could take this, and I could tape this on here and maybe write some notes about what it was, or even just staple it right on top of there. So it's a fun way to just kind of document color. And then I also have, there's little swatches down there. There's some that have even smaller ones, so you can paint into these. You could also use, like if you had your own, to peel this. I'm not very good with staying in the lines. But, you know, I could take some of my colors and just make a little swatch of them here. And then I could add in some of pencils. I'm just grabbing random things that are on my desk right now. And this is an Inktense, I believe. So I could do the Inktense like that, but then if I wanted to dip it in water and see how it looks, gives a whole different, look how dark it is. That's the one thing I love about Inktense. I usually use them dipped in water, where I just dip the whole pencil in the water just so that I can get that darker, that really deep color. And they're nice by themselves, you know, when they're dry, but I think the magic and the beauty of the Inktense pencils is when you dip it. So I just dip that into my water container over here. And you can see just the vibrancy. Look at how different the color looks. It's amazing. But I could also then, if I wanted to just keep it dry, and then I think this paint brush might be dirty. I could also kind of water it down that way too. And then I could, you know, have half and half. So there's lots of ways that you can use this. I have different sized pieces, and depending on how you print them and what your printer does. So this is also another one of the swatch palettes. This is a little bit larger. So if you wanted to use like a, do I have a flat brush here anywhere? No, but I have this. I have one of my dagger stripers. So this would fit a 1/2 inch dagger striper. So if I wanted to use this on here, let's do, I think I have one that's cut. Here's one. And that's the other thing too. You can take these pages, and what I did was cut this apart into smaller swatches. So this was the whole page here, I think, yeah. And I just cut it so that now I have 8 squares here, and then here I have 3 times 4, 12. And then I have this big one, so I could do a really fun gradation on this one here, and then, you know, use different palettes as I play. So I'm just grabbing a little bit of my watercolor that's over there. I grabbed 2 different colors, and so that one is a little bit bigger than that box. But if you want to be very precise, then you would just use a smaller brush. I am very messy, obviously. But this is, I'm so excited about this, and there are going to be lots more to come. I've been experimenting, creating these really fun frames inside of Procreate and layering them. So this right here, I did this series of, I actually put this on top of this other piece here, but there's these like stamps that I'm really excited about, that I think will be a lot of fun. So you can write notes on here. You can, again, cut these. They're meant to be used as whole. The other nice thing about this too is that you could take this size and make a little smaller journal or sketchbook or color journal. And you could take this and just have like a mini book. So if I folded that in half, there's lots of ways I could do that. I could also cut this off and use that as swatches. So this is a painting that I made inside of Procreate, and I also turned it into fabric. And also the printable. You can also put these into the pages too. So I could, you know, add this in as a little swatch and make some notes. So this is also meant for you to add your own artwork in. So you can print out your work on paper if you want, or you can also drag and drop your artwork inside of apps like Canva or Procreate, and you can work with this all digital. And I will share another tutorial where I use them in more of a digital fashion. So these little tiny areas. I wanted to maybe do like a color swatch a day, but you could fill this in like a minute, in like 5 minutes if you wanted to, or you could use it as a little calendar. So there are inside each month you get a little calendar. So they kind of change every quarter, and there are also project sheets, so you could do thumbnailing if you're working on a specific project. So this, you could create your whole little book that has one project. There's studio notes pages that has like tasks, the date, the things, that ideas, and just different things that you want to work on. And so this is the traveler's notebook size that I printed on 8.5 by 11 letter size paper. But I just folded this in half. So there's lots of ways you can use this. I could cut this to size so it'll be a little smaller journal if I wanted to. What I would do is either staple this here, or what I love doing with a lot of my little mini books is I just run the sewing machine, zigzag this right down the center, and then that binds everything together, and then I have these little mini books. It's something I used to do, gosh, back probably over 10 years ago. I made these printable planners, and they were every month I created a new planner that I would stitch together. So just thought I would give you that little peek inside of the Swatch Studio, and I'll be sharing more about this coming up. But there's so much that you can do with everything that you get as part of the printables. So that is the Swatch Studio. Thanks so much for watching. Have fun playing and painting and exploring color.